Hey beautiful people, welcome back to Easy Sewing with Taic, your go-to space for stylish, easy and beginner-friendly sewing tutorials. Today I'll be showing you how to make a detachable collar or neck piece. This chic DIY accessory can instantly elevate your outfit, and you can even sew it directly into a dress or a blouse neckline. It is stylish and super beginner-friendly. If you're new here, I am Taiwo and I'm so glad that you stopped by. I can assure you that you would love it here. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of our fun sewing tutorials. And to my amazing returning subscribers, thank you so much for being here. Your support truly means the world to me. Now let's dive right in. Here is the pattern paper on which we'll be drafting the detachable collar today, and as you can see, it is on fold. This way it's folded into two. And to know the width of this fold, you just have to look at this collar. You can see that it is extending outside the shoulder a bit by 1 inch. So this is what we want to do. You can go ahead to add 2 inches to the shoulder measurement and then divide it by 2. Or you go ahead and divide your shoulder measurement by 2 and add 1 inch. For example, I'm working with 14 inches shoulder measurement. So 14 plus 2 divided into 2 is 8. Or 14 divided by 2 plus 1 is 8 inches. And that is why I have 8 inches there. Alright. Here is the center, as I said earlier, the center front. Now moving over to the length. So looking at this detachable collar, you can see that one side of the front is longer than the other side. So we are starting with that long side, the side that I'm indicating on the screen currently. And if you look at it, you will see that it is below the half length. So this is what you want to do based on your preference. You can go ahead and add 1 inch to your half length measurement, or you add 2 inches to your half length measurement, or you use the exact half length measurement depending on how long you want it to be. But for the purpose of today's tutorial, I'll be working with 17 inches. So I'll go ahead and mark out my 17 inches and rule a straight line like this. And for the back, though I was unable to find a picture of how the back looks like, but I want to assume that the back is not as long as the front. So I'll be working with 4.5 inches for the length of the back. So starting from this ruled line, I'll go ahead and measure the 4.5 just as you can see on the screen and roll it across. Now here is the front and here is the back, and this line here represents the shoulder. Now that I've gotten all our length measurements in, we would now proceed to drafting of the neckline. As you can see, we have a basic neckline going on here. So the neck dimension that I'm working with would be 3 inches width and 3 inches depth for the front. But you can also work with 3.5 inches depth for the front. Alright. And for the back neck depth, I'm working with 1.5 inches. So I'm just going to connect these 3 points together like this. Moving on, now we can proceed to trace out that longer design that we have going on in the front. You just want to slant your tape, your ruler this way, slant it from the shoulder all the way to the edge to form a long triangle like this. And that is it. Now moving on to the back. Since we can't see the back, I'm just going to use my imagination for the back. So you can leave it square shaped this way, or you can make it round and just give it a curve. So I'm going to go with the latter. I will just go ahead and measure what I have left for the shoulder measurement there, which is 5 inches. I'll keep measuring that 5 inches till I can no longer measure the 5 inches till I meet up with that black line, that 4.5 inches line. Then I'm just going to connect what I have to give it a curve this way. So you can make any shape you want for that back neckline, since we can't actually see what's there from the style inspiration. And now we are done with a half of this collar. So I'm going to turn it to the other side and draft the other side, because I actually prefer drafting this on fold. So I'm going to open it up to show you what we have, but I'll be placing it on the other side now so that we can draft out the other side of this collar as well. Moving on, while I go ahead to put in all the measurements that is common to the two sides, which is the length, the 17 inches length for the front, the 4.5 inches length for the back, and the neckline, I would love to ask this quick question. Does everything that we've been doing so far, does it look easy to you, or has it been a little bit tricky? Be honest, I'd love to hear your thoughts. And also, what fabric would you try this with first? I'd love to know as well. And also, if you know a friend or anyone that is just starting out sewing, that is just learning to sew, that is a beginner, do well to share this video with them and they will thank you later. Now that I'm done with all these measurements, we can proceed to drafting out the other part of this beautiful design. Now, to make this other part easier, because it's a little bit tricky because of all the curves going on, in order to make it easier, let's go ahead and mark it out round first. Let's have a round shape first. When we have our perfect round shape, then we can now begin to alter it. I believe that would make it easier. So I decided to work with 4.5, even though the length at the shoulder is 5 inches. So just keep measuring 4.5 till you are almost at the shoulder line, then connect it all the way to the shoulder line, and you would have this. You can see that this part is curvy, so I'll be coming up by 1/2 inch. Then I'll be using my curve ruler to give that part a curve this way. Just follow through with what you can see on the screen, and that is why I'm making use of my pencil first. So when I get my desired curved shape, then I will now make it pronounced with the marker, and I would advise that you do the same too, because with the marker it can be a bit messy when you're trying to adjust the shape and all. Moving on, the next thing to do is to locate the point that is going to have that next curve. So if you look at it very well, you will see that that point is not exactly at the center. It is closer to the front than it is to the shoulder. Okay, so you just want to eyeball it and choose a point that is closer to that center and further away a bit from the shoulder. So from that point, come up by 1/2 inch again. Again, this part can be a bit tricky, especially for beginners, but just follow through with what you can see on the screen. So I'm just using my curved ruler to achieve the desired shape that is as close as possible to what we have in the style inspiration. You can see how I placed my curved ruler for the first part, and you can see how I am placing it for the second part. I'm just trying as much as possible to achieve that mild curve that we have going on over there. And this is why I advise that you use your pencil again, so that if there's any mistake, you can always clean it up and restart. So now that I'm fine with the shape that I have, I'm just going to make it pronounced using my black marker over here. And this is what I have so far. Is it not looking beautiful? Do not go off yet. I'll be showing you how to make the second layer very easy without drafting from scratch again. All right, so I'll just proceed to cut out all the excess this way, so that I can show you how to do the second layer. So this center part would be split open later once we are done drafting the second layer. So you can go ahead and use this pattern and transfer it to your fabric. Ensure that you add 1/2 inch sewing allowance all around. Once you are done, remove it and place it on your cutting table again, and determine how much smaller you want the second layer to be. Do you want it to be 2 inches smaller than this first layer, or 1 inch or 1.5 inches smaller than this first layer? Once you have determined that, for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm working to 1.5 inches. So from the shoulder that way, come in by 1.5 inches. Then keep marking 1.5 inches till you can no longer mark 1.5 inches, and that is where you are going to stop. Okay, now that you can no longer mark the 1.5 inches, then you will just use your ruler to connect it straight to the shoulder line this way. And also for the back, keep marking 1.5 inches from the edge that way. Mark it from one side to the other side so you can achieve a similar shape that is much more smaller. So just like we've been doing, I came up by 1 inch all around till I was able to achieve the same shape, but now obviously smaller. So I'm making use of my pencil first, like I did earlier, and once I'm fine with the shape that I have going on there, then I would make it more pronounced with the marker. And this center here is slanted. Unlike the bigger layer that is straight, the smaller one is slanted, so you just want to have it this way. Now that I'm fine with the shape that I have, I just went ahead to make it more pronounced with the marker, and you can see that the shape that we have is similar. So this is the first layer and that is the second layer. So don't forget to slash through the center that way. And if you are making this detachable, you can add this hook in order to hold the collar in place. And if you want it to be sewn on, then you just want to insert this collar inside the neckline for the dress. But you have to make sure that the neckline measurement you are using for this collar is the same neckline measurement or dimension that you're using for the actual dress as well. And that is it for today. Thank you so much for drafting with me. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up, like it, and share with someone who would love sewing too. I can't wait to see your own draft or your finished collar. So don't forget to tag me when you share your work. Up until next time, keep creating and keep shining. Bye.